Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are ready to go for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. This one a Sunday, well, it's an afternoon fixture in Perth, but it is an evening fixture for us here in New Zealand. The temperature is off the charts at the moment, 32 degrees Celsius for this matchup, and it is the Fijian Drua taking on the Western Force. Now, the Drua have gone 2 years without getting themselves an away win, but this game they've got a really decent shot of being able to break that chain. Looking through at the starting lineups, first of all, for the Force, it is going to be Coxon in the front row alongside Dolly and Robertson, Jeremy Williams and Darcy Swain making up the locking duo. Will Harris will start at number 6 after coming off a try in the last fixture. Carlo Tazzano, that man has been scoring tries for fun. He is up to 6 from the first 5 games, or it might even be the first 4 games for the Western Force. Then at number 8, it is Nick Champion de Chris Pigney, which is quite the mouthful. He's quite the handful out there on the field for the Force. As well, Nick White and Ben Donaldson will be the 19 combo with Hamish Stewart alongside Theo Tompkinson, Dylan Peach, Harry Potter and Matt Greeley at number 15. For the Fijian Drua, in their starting lineup, it is Levi Natave alongside Tavita Ikanaveri and Meli Tuni. As the front row, Masaki Vothi, who has had quite a great start to his Super Rugby season with a Soa Nasilasila there in the number 5 jersey. Tony Owanga starting at 6. Thanakai Vata number 7 and Derialangi back into that number 8 jersey. Kuravuli and Caleb Muntz will be the 9-10 combo with Samo Vodre alongside Osifo Masi in the centres. Rakuro out on one wing. Ponipati Loganamasi. A lot of people will know from the 7 side of things he's really stepped up in Union as well. And Eliza Drua Sisi slotting in at number 15. But the way that the table sits, ladies and gentlemen, these two sides are both outside of that top 6. The Force, after a pretty strong start to the competition, find themselves in 8th with a points differential of minus 46. The Drua, their differential is better, but they have had one less win, just that one so far. And believe it or not, their one win is up against the top of the table Chiefs. So they certainly chose a good game come right there for the Drua, but they have had a couple defeats to the Brumbies. Now, want to make sure they get themselves a win over another Aussie side. But in the chat we have got there, Kia ora, Hamish says Matthew, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well, and I hope the Drua win this game, says Matthew. And the Drua dollars, says Edward there, maintain your discipline and urgency, Drua. You will be victorious, and Sameli has become a member on the channel. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. You now have access to those emojis that you do see in the chat every once in a while, so be sure to get amongst it. But both sides making their way out onto HBF Park. Like I said, it's going to be extremely hot out there on the field. Bonus point, says Edward John. So you're saying the Drua are going to win this game by 3 or more tries. That is a massive call, but it could be possible. They've got a strong lineup here. Both of these sides, they know how to play in the heat. And I think it's going to be, even though it's a hot day, probably quite a free-flowing game. Been on the Force, they killed the Drua last game in May. Says Judah, nice, hope you had a rest. Says Bhavani, I had a very short one. It was nowhere near as long as it probably needed to be, but as you guys will know, I got up for that cricket prize giving and then I just decided to stay up throughout it. So I'm running off about probably 2 or 3 hours sleep in the last 24 hours, but we have got their Drua will win. Says Bhavani, and thanks for the coverage, bro. Says Muhammad. And there's going to be a good one, says Kristen Rush. Yeah, both of these sides so far this season have played with quite a bit of intent in the way that they have been attacking. The Western Force a little bit unlucky in their last game up against the Crusaders. At times they seemed in it, and then that second half happened. Macca Springer, Will Jordan, Sevu Reese happened, and it just disappeared in terms of their hopes of winning it. But 4 matches for Ben Donaldson. He's had 161 carry meters. Sitting decently off the kicking T2, or kicking T2, I should say. Sitting 17 off 20. Now ready to go for this matchup. Nick White is going to be kicking off for the Western Force. Nick Berry will be the referee for this game. And Nick Champion de Chris Pigney will be the Nick with the longest name in this match. Nick Dolly also there. Nick is a very popular name in this match by the looks of it. But 3-2-1. The kickoff is now taking place. The Western Force to get us underway for this contest in Perth. Nicely taken inside of the 22 by Fijian Drua Live, who was straight away met with a bit of physicality from the Western Force. I also bet on the Bulldogs over the Eels. Eels are terrible and down at the half. Says Judah. Good crowd, says Mr. Billy. I haven't seen a huge amount of it just as of yet, but as soon as we get a wide angle, I'll let you know. It honestly didn't look that bad, considering how hot it is for this matchup. Nick White, though, in possession here for the Western Force. There's already going to be the penalty advantage in favour of the home side, Carlo Tazzano. I said already he has scored 6 tries. This looks like an injury here for Nick White. This does not look good for the experienced half, and I'm trying to work out what type of injury that is. He's kind of squeezing his hand, so it might be a shoulder dislocation or maybe just a bit of a stinger for Nick White. It looks like the Western Force were just about to consider a quick tap. It also looks like they might have had to make a couple changes to their lineup. That actually looked more like Harry Potter on the left wing than the right. Yeah, so it's just a big shot from Ilya Thanakaivata. Did slam him into the ground. Good evening, Amish brother. I hope you are well. Says Birdie V. Doing very well, Birdie. Hopefully you are doing well also. But now they will get the rolling maul opportunity here for the Western Force. Only 90 seconds in. Looking for the first points of the day. Nick White is going to be all right. So I think it was just a bit of a stinger. A good maul defence from the draw. At least it seemed like it was going to be until the Force breakaway, and they will score within 2 minutes. Looks like it's Nick Dolly who has popped up with that one. It should be a good game for Gryffindor with Harry Potter on the pitch, says Judah. And my word, that Bulls game almost gave me a high blood pressure. Tell you what, that game as well as the Sharks Zebre, both I feel were closer than they needed to be. But yeah, the Bulls got the job done in the end. But they certainly won't feel overly confident based off current form. I do think they should beat Zebre, though, unless something really drastic happens. Just a really good rolling maul. Nick Dolly popped out the side. And there was a bit of a cheap shot there from one of the Western Force players in the background. So I think he got a bit of a slap in the back of the head from Kuravuli for the troubles. Rugby on a Sunday, go hard. I'd rather watch paint dry 2 salad dweller teams. I'll go watch NBA GG. So here's Higher Life, and that kick has gone over now for the Western Force. But of course, it's not the first time that we've had a Sunday game for Super Rugby. They did have one when it was the Reds versus the Crusaders. Yeah, just a really nice rolling maul. The draw, they didn't do much wrong with that defence, other than it was just that little rotation of the maul that snuck them through. Let's go the draw. We can't lose this. I don't believe in you, says Optimus. I was really confused by the first half, and then I realised, of course, the second. And about time draw, says Edward. Kick downfield from inside of the 22. Nicely taken by Fijian Drua Live. Does slip over. Almost gave the opportunity for a turnover here for the Force. But Tavita Kanaviri going off to the short side. Ilya Thanakaivata. His foot was in touch, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be grub it infield. Nicely picked up by Matt Greeley. Can be a danger with the ball in hand. Kicks it in behind. It looks like the turf's playing a little bit slow at the moment. And that one's going to be kicked in a touch. A very good clearance from inside of their 22. They decide to take it quickly, though, the Western Force. Now looking for the kick in behind. Finds Caleb Muntz with possession. He will once again look towards the touchline. Anyone want to bet, draw or lose? I'm Fijian, by the way, says Optimus. And good luck to the Fijian Drua, says hey there too. Going back across to the left-hand side, Ben Donaldson. They've got the ball at the moment, the Western Force, about 40 metres from their try line. Score is sitting 7-0 after that first try of Nick Dolly. Now Nick White gets his hands on the ball. Back to Donaldson in the pocket. And look who it is, Optimus 12. Oh, a bit of a handling area at the back from Drua. Punches the ball out of frustration, but now on the 22, the Western Force going to have another attacking chance. Force first try, they did already score it with Nick Dolly, but they can also get the second. Just looking into the sun there. Drua Sisi. Maybe just a little bit of pressure on him as well there. Pack weights in this one. Normally Fiji are known for having a relatively large pack. Western Force though, they've got some big players in there. In fact, both sides going light here, I've just seen. 846 kgs for the Drua, 858. Two sides going with more of the speed factor in that fallback. Pakistan won the toss and bowling first. Here's Kiwi Rob. Yeah, I should be able to catch the second half of that match. Now off the back, it's going to be champion de Chris Pigney, who scored that first try. It was Nick Dolly, the number 2 for the Western Force. Donaldson now passes it off. It goes into the hands of Dolly, and that could be a close to a turnover. No, Nick Berry penalises the Fijian Drua. He says that the ruck is formed. I which is this game in Fiji or Perth? It is in Perth, so local time kickoff was around 2:05 p.m. So it is considered an afternoon game, even though it is a little bit earlier on, or a bit later on, I should say, for us here in New Zealand. Donaldson does get that one into touch. And honestly, like time zone wise, there aren't many time zones that this game doesn't fit nicely into. Maybe the USA. I'd say it's probably a little bit rough time wise for them. Doing the Sea Eagles game later, says Judah. I am not, no. Who are they playing later on, Judah? I feel like they will go a lot better this week than they did up against the Warriors in their last game. But Dolly throws it in, nicely taken by Jeremy Williams. And now getting very close to scoring, getting over again. Is it Carlo Tizzano? Yes, it is. He has now got 7 tries. And he is the leading try scorer of the competition now. He just ends up right place, right time. He's doing it for fun at the moment. For a season, he's had 7. In his career, he's only had 15. They play the Raiders. Says Jude, yeah, that will be an interesting game. See how the Raiders can go. And I was out here thinking to myself, surely Tizzano can't score again in this game. He scored in every single contest that they have played in so far, the Western Force. As we saw, the Raiders are a dangerous team. Says Judah. That's now 2 rolling maul tries for the Western Force, and it does seem like something they will try and use time and time again here up against the draw. Although I will mention not all is lost. We saw what happened in that game between the Chiefs and Moana Pacifica. We've seen, Donaldson not really getting that one clean. But second half sides, the draw is certainly one of them. And as long as they're somewhere in the ballpark, they should have a decent chance of having a slight comeback. England versus Italy women's tomorrow morning. Says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, I think it's at about 4 a.m, isn't it? New Zealand time. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch a replay of the Women's Six Nations games probably on Monday or Tuesday. Probably Tuesday, actually, by the time I get the chance, because I'll also probably have to watch a couple other weekend rugby replays too. Going off to the left-hand side, Donaldson. Going across to Sio Tompkinson. Tries a bit of a risky pass off to Greeley. Now offloaded. Just mentioned about that late replacement in the number 14 jersey here. Says Kiwi Rob going off to the left-hand side. Greeley goes on the outside to Sio Tompkinson. Another chip in behind. They draw her back there, ready to go with the counter-attack. Mary Derialangi. Slips over the turf. Is absolutely brutal for the draw by the looks of it. I think that the Western Force are used to it, and they seem to be able to change direction without too many troubles at all. But the drawer, we've already seen Drua Sisi and Mary Derialangi completely mess it up footwork-wise. To be fair, the Western Force came in from the wrong side of that breakdown. Nick Berry does say play on, and it's going to be knocked on now by the drawer. And we'll go back for the original scrum. Langi, he stayed down. I think he's actually really injured his leg here. From the way that he slipped over, he might have broken his ankle. He could have... Might even be the knee by the looks of it. The left knee of Langi, and he was grimacing as he landed. So, yeah, tries the step, and the ground just didn't come with him. Don't forget you have Hong Kong next weekend. Says Kiwi Rob. I certainly have not forgotten. Yeah, the time zones for that one aren't terrible, I don't believe. I think it's early afternoon going through to around 1:30 a.m. And the good news is I also don't have cricket next weekend as the season's come to a close. So I don't have to worry about that period of between about 12 and 7 p.m. on a Saturday where I am normally running around. Instead, now I can just concentrate on getting things scheduled and hopefully covering Super Rugby. They're just showing those Donaldson kicking stats. Now, they did have that before he missed his kick by the looks of that one. Currently sitting 1 from 2 today. And comparing the tails from 2024 to 2025, biggest surprise are the Tars and the Crusaders. Biggest disappointment are the Blues, says Judah. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because... don't get me wrong, the Waratahs have done extremely well, right? Compared to where they were last year. But I also do think that they are in an unfortunate position where there's a good chance they start dropping at some point because they haven't faced a huge amount of the New Zealand sides. I think the only one that they faced is the Highlanders, and they were able to get themselves the good win there. But yeah, I just have a few concerns that the Tars, once they start having a few New Zealand matches, that they might start to struggle. But honestly, I think they're a really strong side this year. Nice pass on the outside, and the late replacement went for the corner. I think that was very close to being in touch. It looks like it's going to be a Ward and Melly out. Yeah, it didn't look too good for Langi, unfortunately. First game at 3:30 p.m. Says Kiwi Rob. And then not looking great for the draw thus far. Hope they fight back, says Nicholas. But George Pullman, man who came into the side late after Dylan Peach was unavailable. We're just going to see this one again. It's very close. It's almost simultaneous, but I think the knee was in touch first. Oh, just by half an inch. So I believe they will go back. We need it a bit slower here, frame by frame. That one's not going to show it because that was the angle from behind. First game for New Zealand women is not until 10 p.m. Says Kiwi Rob. Right, it's going to be a cancel try. This angle will show it that little bit better. And yeah, just hitting the ground beforehand. And that was a good push from Eliza Drua to try and get him into touch. And honestly, it was that close that on-field decision almost could have come into it. How'd the prize giving go? I'm thinking Western Force might win. Prize giving was all right. It was raining, so we didn't get to see... there was going to be a junior versus junior game, which, of course, I wouldn't have been playing in, but one of the sides that I coach would have been. But, yeah, the rain came, so we ended up just having the prize giving indoors without a match. Currently 12-0 on the board here for the Western Force after the 12 minutes. Ready to throw this one in, Nick Dolly. It's not the straightest throw. In fact, it was far from straight. Nick Berry, referee in charge of this contest. Letting it flow for now. Hamish Stewart goes up to Ben Donalds. Another offload there. Greeley. This is going to be a try, surely. Will Harris going back. Oh, he got selfish. The wizard. And gets pushed into touch. He's frustrated about it, as he should be. That was an easy opportunity to fire that ball back on the inside, but sometimes these wingers love to think they're going to score on a tightrope. Yeah, he just didn't look like he was ever going to offload that, Harry Potter. Going to be overthrown. Dolly picks it up and reaches out, scores the try, and it's the third one now for the Western Force. Did you see on the 21st of June, British and Irish Lions play Argentina? I did see that. Yes, they've got quite a tour coming up for them. It's going to be very exciting getting to cover that one in its entirety. Yeah, just Dolly waiting for it at the back. Then they play the Force, the Reds, the Brumbies, and the Tars. So here's Max. Of course, they've also got their game up against the New Zealand and Australia combined team, and then the Pacific Islands side. All of Perth is cheering for our boys, or for their boys. So here's Judah. At the moment, their boys are doing extremely well. They currently sit in a position of a bonus point, and that is within the first 15 minutes of this matchup. Probability of this one for Ben Donaldson is sitting at around 92%. And this time he does get it down the middle. And it's going to make the score 19 points to 0 in favour of the Force. This has been the perfect start to the match. I don't think they could have done too much better, other than maybe a couple of those decisions from the wingers. But I mean, when you're still scoring tries anyway, it doesn't hurt you that badly. And hey, Hamish, how crazy was the Bulls game? Are we going to watch the full game now? Says RIP. Yeah, going right down to the wire, that one. Even more so than that Sharks versus Sebre game. Where will Highlanders fall? To if the Force wins, says Max. Is it the first? So Highlanders are 28 points at the moment. In fact, we'll go like this. So if the Force were able to win this game, the Highlanders would drop outside of the top 6. If the Drua were to win this game, and they were to win it with a bonus point, which looks like it will be quite tough to do, so they either need to win it with a bonus point or win it by 26 points or so to be above the Highlanders. In fact, even more than that, I think about 28 points. Now the Drua in possession. Caleb Muntz goes off to Osifo Masi. Got tackled there. Off to the right-hand side to Natave. Kuravuli. Back into the pocket, finds Muntz, and they have decided to go for a little bit of an aerial battle here. Puripate Logan and Masi. In fact, this time it is Rakuro. Gets under it. Do you think we will lose any top-line ABs for the Australian New Zealand team? Says Kiwi Rob. So I was in for like that combined Anzac type of side. I don't think so, just because it is inside of the international window. So I believe it will be the equivalent of Australia A and New Zealand A combining, or the New Zealand XV. So, you know, those guys that we saw in the All Blacks XV last year, for example, the likes of initially someone like a Peter Lakai, and the backline Quintupaya, those type of guys that if they don't make the All Blacks here, they more than likely will get a chance in that type of matchup. Do you believe we can beat the Brumbies away? The Tars playing Hurricanes this Friday. Says Max, that one's going to be nicely sitting up for Ponipati Loganamasi. Couldn't get his offload away in the end. Western Force, though, have to try and survive here. The Drua, normally a very aggressive side on attack. They will just keep on going for those passes to the quick forwards. Although cross kick attempted by Caleb Muntz. Bounce of the ball is stiff and straight upright. Now nice attack and run. Can't get the offload away for Itonio Wanga. Kuravoli goes across to Drua Sese. He's a long way off where you would expect to see him. Now advantage. And the penalty is going to go the way of the Fijian Drua. Aaron Smith and Richie Mohonga. If play 9 and 10 in that game, that would be cool, says Welsh. I guess they might even... They would be available, wouldn't they? As long as they're not playing any other, like, contractual matches for anyone else. It could be an option, perhaps. That was from Welsh Republic Podcast. Out of curiosity, do you do a podcast, is it based off rugby or is it based off something else? Do let me know. And if so, what did you think of the Six Nations? It's probably a pretty brutal question to ask, but I mean it with like sincere interest. As I do think there were moments near the end where Wales did look a lot better. and hopefully can continue to improve. That's going to be kicked out on the full by Matt Greeley. They're saying they think he was inside. I actually thought he was outside for this kick. I think they might have to check this one again just to make sure. Oh no, sorry, he was just in. I know other stuff says Welsh Republic podcast. Now line out throw for Tavita Ikanaveri here for the Fijian Drua. I see taken. On off to the right hand side, Muntz to Thanakai Vata. Left hand side again, big shot on Ikanaveri. Will Harris trying to get in the breakdown, force that steal. It seems to be something that the Western Force loose forwards are really focused on throughout the early stages of this match. When was the last time we won at GIO Stadium? Says Max Scottle, probably a little while, I would say. I don't have the exact stats on me, of course. Kuravuli, now going off to the right-hand side again. Caleb Muntz. Tavita Ikanaveri, nice step there from Samuel Vodre. Another penalty advantage. Do you ever watch the breakdown? I actually don't really, to be honest. Like, I am really bad when it comes to trying to watch, whether it's a TV show or, like, most things in general. I just end up finding myself, like, either if I'm editing, I can't focus on something else watching it because I get my voice and, like, a voice that I'm listening to confused and then just lose my place. So most of the time, if I'm doing any sort of editing, I just have music or something quietly in behind. I'm Sianda from South Africa. Our South African sides are not good enough at the URC this year. What's your take? The thing is, they're not going, like, too badly, right? And I do agree that at times they've been a little bit up and down, but, like, I do still think there's going to be some home finals, or at least home quarters, home semis for the South African sides. I think just losing all those players in the middle patch for injuries, that kind of muddled them. But honestly, like, the 2 1-point wins, both sides seemed like they were trying to lose and then somehow came back into it. But yeah, it's still been thoroughly entertaining watching those sides. It's fine if you're being brutal. Wales were absolute garbage and not very good at all. Then a complete overhaul in the rugby union. I've seen that Pat Lam may not be the next Welsh coach, and I think Michael is going to be too busy. I think it's going to be Franco Smith. Interesting. So, yeah, like, I do give Wales a little bit of credit in terms of what they were able to do up against Ireland. They actually looked like a whole new side, and maybe that was just because it was the first game after Gatland had left that they started going a lot better, but second half up against Scotland had some sort of potential as well. Just finding consistency and just getting enough guys with a little bit of experience under their belts is going to be the big factor. Now we are having the first drinks break of this contest, 32 degrees Celsius. They are playing in Perth, so pretty understandable that they will have one every 20 minutes. Do you believe we can beat the Brumbies or no? Well, I thought that the Highlanders could beat the Reds, and then they kind of squandered it. So, honestly, if it's taught us anything, Super Rugby's too unpredictable, and you guys know how bad my predictions are anyway, so if I say yes, they'll lose, and if I say no, they might lose anyway, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it goes for them. The next 5 matches for the Western Force, they've got the Reds next week. Then from there, they have the Highlanders. They've got a bye, the Hurricanes, then the Chiefs. So the Force certainly having a slightly lighter start to the season and then ramping it up near the end. England are a very good team if they had their French-based players with them, like Jack Willis. They probably would have won the Six Nations. England could be heading into the golden era soon. And they have very insane youngsters who are very good. Says Welsh. Yeah, I think a lot of those Northern Hemisphere sides at the moment, those young academy guys and the men being scouted from a very early age, look like they are going to be the bright prospects. Well, the Highlanders next game, says Max. I am surprised that you don't know that, Max, seeing as you are a Highlanders fanatic. But so next week for the Highlanders, they are playing the Brumbies, as you all know. The one after that, they are playing the Force. That is in week 8. Then they've got the Drua in week 9. That will be happening down in Dunedin. Then they play the Chiefs away, and then they've got the Crusaders down in Dunedin as well. But currently the Western Force, they are finding themselves defending from inside of their own 22. Samuel Vorre pops it up to Caleb Muntz. What a shot. Says Kiwi Rob. Oh, ball bounces out the side. Co Tompkinson, and then just the knock on for Pullman out wide. Look at this Welsh sheep. Look at this Welsh sheep stealing out oxygen for free. Look at this. Well, I'm so confused, JD. What happened? Could you hit on 695? Or could you hit a 695 meters? I assume that is. And if that's myself, no. No chance. I've only hit, I think it's 4 6s? Or maybe 3 6s in my lifetime. 2 of which were catches that were dropped over the boundary and actually assisted by the fielder. And then the other one, I just was annoyed that I was scoring so slowly, so just put my head down, had a slog, and hit it all the way. I remember about 16 years ago, I got laughed at by some Aussies in Perth. They said the Western Force won't last. People will only watch AFL in Western Australia. If you want oxygen, JD, it's going to cost you money, $5. Says Welsh Republic Podcast. But now sitting 20 metres out from the line. A 6 just went 99 metres. Right, yeah, no, I'm not doing that anytime soon, that's for sure. Koravoli, Megarastu Samu Vorre, who has been told to get out of that one. It's happened quite a bit throughout this match in terms of the Western Force right on the cusp. Giving away that penalty in the breakdown, but currently 22 metres in. Or 22 metres out, I should say. Off to the right-hand side, Drua Sisi has knocked it on. And it's going to be another scrum for the for the Western Force. We're still laughing at the Force, don't get it wrong. Says TH. Yeah, they've certainly had a better start this year than some would have anticipated. And that's the thing, they have only had the 2 wins, but there's some pretty close games in there too. Do you bowl as well or just bat and field? Well, I am more of a batter, but I honestly don't think my bowling is too bad. It's just more of the case of, because I wasn't bowling at the start of the season, like, I never really got the chance in matches. I think I've bowled in 3 games and I've got a wicket in all 3 of them. But I only got to bowl in 3 out of about 20 games throughout the season. Nick White, ready to feed this ball in. And it is going to be hooked back, being told to use it again. I like the Western Force, number 10, Ben Donaldson. He's definitely going to be the Wallabies number 10 for the Lions series. And he's a guy that, even just last year, some people felt like maybe was a bit unlucky to lack game time. But, yeah, like, when he's looking as good as he is for a side that some people do criticise as much as the Western Force, that's how you know you've got a really strong 10. And he was a little bit the same with the Waratahs. He was able to do some great things for them. 59 for 1. New Zealand batting 4th over, New Zealand 54 for none. And a few yawns sneaking in for this live stream. We're not used to a stream at 7 p.m. on a Sunday night. Why the Wales, Welsh Republic podcast. Where's the land, mate, says JD. I'm very confused, JD. Do you dislike Wales or something? Are we over there? Blues need new coach, Hemi. What you think? I think that, Vern Cotter, he's going to get a lot of the stick. And honestly, it reminds me of last year for the Crusaders. Rob Penny took so much, I'm going to say, there's worse words I can say, but rubbish from people for the Crusaders not playing well. And that was with a really makeshift team. Vern Cotter, he's got the champions of last year, which he actually helped get to be the champions as well, we should mention. Yes, Leon McDonald at one point was heavily involved, but, Vern Cotter is still, he's a bit unlucky because, honestly, you can't help the fact that his side are dropping the ball 20 times. Or 10 times in a game. Sorry, 20 was actually the Sharks in that other match. JD is actually a very nice piece of land, says Welsh Republic Podcast. Blues need a whole new team, says Matthew. But yeah, like in terms of stackness, their side is one of the most stacked in the competition. But something about being out there on the field just doesn't seem to work. Right, an early push there from Western Force. I don't know why Nick Berry's apologising to them. He says, sorry, but you've gone too early there, Blues. Or sorry, Blue, I should say. And now Caleb Muntz will be able to kick this one towards the touchline. Any news about Marmite? Says Spider-Mink. Not that I know of. I'm not sure whether or not he got timed out or what the go was, but he was on his second account at one point, I'm sure. What's your thoughts on overseas player eligibility for the All Blacks? It's an interesting one. Like, I know that Scott Robertson currently is pushing for overseas New Zealanders to get selected, such as a Richie Mo'unga, well, mainly Richie Mo'unga. But, like, it is a tricky one because if they had it that anyone from overseas could play, Super Rugby would suffer. But, like, yeah, I feel like it's a tricky one. And depends on who you talk to, whether or not they agree or disagree. Go round up the sheeps, mate. Learn to win, you can preach. Wasting oxygen playing rugby, says JD. Did you, like, put a big bet on them, JD, or something? Because there seems to be so much anger from yourself. I'm going to have a quick look. How many sheep in Wales? I don't think they've got as many as us Kiwis. They have 8.75 million. Whereas New Zealand, we've got about 20-something million. 24.4 million. So if you're talking about anyone who's got a bit of a sheep problem, it is certainly us. We got the other problem with the Blues is they're missing Akira, Sam Derry, Barrett. They have an aging team and it hasn't helped when Auckland has done so bad in the NPC. Yeah, like, it is a struggle when you've got those main guys out, and definitely losing Tui Pelotu just before the start of that Crusaders game. We don't need overseas. That's an insult to the players. If they're all here, says Spider Meek. And come on the drill, score a try, says Novmum. And stick to golf, mate. So who are the Welsh golfers that you follow, JD? Old man syndrome kicking. I have no idea what you're talking about, JD, or who's, like, hurt you that's made you so, like, offended by a guy with a Welsh flag. Like, have you got, like, an ex-girlfriend from Wales who ran away for a sheep or something? We have got there, what would that say to our younger players if we open the overseas players? Says Kiwi Rob. Well, that's the thing. Like, it is because New Zealand Rugby want to keep young, talented players in New Zealand. But the money's starting to get that good overseas that a lot of those young guys, when they realise they're not getting selected internationally, do decide to go away. 28 minutes, a nice step here from Harry Potter, just running straight up the middle of the field, and he will score the try almost untouched, like he had his invisibility. He must hate all these Harry Potter references, but does score the try in the 28th minute. How are you there? Stop it, you are not nice, says Edward. And heck yeah, Toto Western, let's go Buller, says Mark. Yeah, just trying to catch up there was Ponipati Loganamasi, and he just kept on curving his way through the gaps. A Fiji Drua can't keep relying on home games. I've been 3 years and they still struggling to play overseas. And hello, says Yeti Bird. Pathetic, says Optimus. Although, if it makes you feel slightly better, the Fijian Drua, they had lost a lot of away games, and so had the Crusaders. Like, I think the Crusaders had about a year where they hadn't won an away contest up until that last game up against the Blues. 29 minutes in and 24-0 at the moment is how this one sits. Like they've just said, a massive hole. They've found themselves in, and that is going to make the score now 26 points to 0. What do you think's wrong with the Blues, Hamish? Do you think with Auckland struggling in the NPC, it's not helping the Blues? The thing is, though, like, it's always, or not maybe not always, but there's always been that discipline side of things for the Blues. This year they've had a lot of drop balls as well, but like I don't think that the NPC side affects it too much, honestly, because they have got all those experienced heads. Like someone like a Rico Ioane should have like much more impact than he has. You got Clark, Talia out on the wings, two All Blacks representatives that can hardly find the ball because the back line's not functioning at all. Cameraman goes down, very close to the sideline there. And bonus point try sees Kiwi Rob. Yeah, at the moment they do sit with the bonus point. Their last try also had them sitting with it. And wait for it, says Edward. Yeah, I'm expecting the Fijian Drua to come back into this a little bit. Yeah, cameraman for Stan getting knocked over. There we go. We see the angle there. Luckily, the camera is all right, and so is the player and the cameraman. There were two important players missing yesterday, and that really hurt them, says Judah. And we have got there, these British always treat us like we owe them. Once again, what did he say that, like, made you offended, JD? Was it just the fact that he, like, because I swear he's just asked rugby-related questions, hasn't he? He said that England were pretty strong with their rugby at the moment. He said that it would be quite cool if Aaron Smith and Richie Mo'unga were the 9-10 combo for that one. And then all of a sudden you went, hey, I hate you for no reason. Arabia Southern Hemisphere says Edward John. Can't believe the Highlanders lost that game versus the Reds. Went to that game expecting a win. Honestly, I thought that they were going to get the job done too. Like, the Reds have looked good throughout this season. But I did feel like the Highlanders down in Dunedin would have had a really good shot. Get another mistake coming from the Fijian Drua here. You see Natave going off the field. That is going to be for Hirete Hitit. I'm sad, says Yeti Bird. Just blocked JD, says Bruce. Some deep breaths being taken by this Fijian Drua Pack 2. We've got to remember this game being played in very hot conditions. So sad to see that Giz Wiley died. What a great man for rugby, says Kevin Layla. And yet paint drying is more relevant than this game. Although you are still here, High Life. You did say earlier on that you were going to be leaving, but you seem to be either sticking around or popping back in just to see how it's going. I think White looked like he was about to feed this ball into the scrum. Do you play T20 or 50 overs? So we play half the season is T20 and the other half is 40 overs. So not quite 50, but still a relatively long time. We have good there. I just blocked him. Can only take so much stupidity, says Bruce. 7 minutes remaining in this first half. But now, Nick White does feed the ball in. And off to the left-hand side, Hamish Stewart round to Donaldson. Grizzy is 80. His time is up, says Spider-Mick. Off to the right-hand side, big carry forward for Jeremy Williams. Sitting Kuravuli down. Hamish Stewart. It's looking dangerous again for the Western Force. Do you have a plan on doing a video of your greatest rugby match day 23 of all time? No plans at the moment, just because I feel like I'd probably get it wrong. Myself and Norm Maxwell, a couple years ago, we actually did a video based off what we felt was the strongest All Blacks side in history. So if that's something you'd be interested in, be sure to check it out. Hearing it from an All Black as well was quite an awesome experience. Fiji Rugby very tired, says Mark. Now Donaldson again will kick this ball into touch. All right, we'll go like this, and we will go like that. There we go. And then 6 overs done, 79 for 1. Geez, that's a high total. Is that Finn Allen firing, or is that someone else, Kiwi Rob, for that kind of strike rate? Seifert, is he still out there, or which one went out? Jeremy Williams. Now taking the ball 5 metres out from the try line, trying to roll this one forward and over the line. It's just rolling maul try every day of the week, isn't it? At the moment for the Western Force. And Nick Dolly's got the hat trick. Is that 3 or 4 tries from the rolling maul? I think that is 3. They are now on 31 points here. the Western Force. They are just flying forward. However, Allen and Chapman are in at the moment. Says Kiwi Rob. Dolly does go in for his third great day at the office for the Western Force hooker. Bulldogs trying to hold on, 7 minutes to go. Up 14 points to 8 over the Eels. Says Judah. And Seifert win out, says Kevin. Yep, built a confident partnership first and started slogging it, says Mark. Ready to line up this one. Donaldson. That one has just snuck in the post. And is now going to make the score after 36 minutes. 33-0. Drua gassed up already, says Rock. And yeah, this is absolutely destroying the Fijian Drua points differential. The way that it currently sits, if we were to go here and like that, there we go. So the Drua going into this game, their points differential was minus 26. Now it's gone way down to minus 59. And there's still time remaining. So if this game stays the way that it does, and if it even gets worse, Fijian Drua will have the worst points differential of the whole competition. Surprisingly, the other team that will be right at the bottom is actually the Blues, with their current points differential. The way that they sit, run rate 12.92 at the moment, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, so really doing nicely. You mentioned about a 99 metre 6 earlier on, but the boundaries are relatively short, aren't they? So he probably cleared it by a large amount. Now Harry Potter, that's a forward pass, looked like a netball one. Not sure whether or not he was thinking that wasn't forward, but not the best choice from Harry Potter. Shush about the Blues, it hurts. Sorry about that one. I didn't actually realise, if I'm being completely honest, with the exception of the Force, that is where their differential set, just because they've had so many close games throughout the season. I hope they step up today, but the Force really smashed them so hard today, says Rock. Oh, a little bit brutal there. Nick Berry saying to keep this one moving forward. Is it Bay Oval, Hamish? Says Kiwi Rob. Yes, a 95 would have well and truly cleared that boundary rope. I hope they step up today. Other Horse really smashed them so hard today, says Rock. Yeah, like the Fijian Drua, maybe they do something in the second half, but currently the way that it sits, it just seems like there's going to be no chance for the Fijian Drua. We have got their, I can read the word fungus. Is that towards me or towards the way that the Drua have played, Stephen? Because I'm slightly confused. But honestly, probably a reasonable outburst. And bro, your composition. What you think? My composition, as in like who I think will be sitting where at the end of the comp? Is that what you're saying there? Edward, New Zealand, I have to go. I have this, go Black Caps, I follow them all the time. Says Kevin and Draw might win and spoon contenders this season, just saying, says Rock. I bet your girlfriend is fire, says Edward John. Well, I don't have one of those. So, I guess not, but maybe one day. Highlanders have dropped down now. Says Max, live forecast, New Zealand 218. Says Kiwi Rob, currently on the halfway line now. Way to the side to Antonio Wanga. That ball was out, so the Western Force will not be penalised for offside. A BK singing the blues. The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone. Issues, says Edward John. And 100 up in the 7 overs. Nicely carried forward by the Drua again. And got guests checking out now. I'll be back later. Thanks for more commentary, Hamish. Need coffee to wake up properly, but busy with a dry fast, says Bruce. Yeah, hopefully it all goes smoothly for yourself. Antonio Wanga finds the pass on the outside to Rakuro. This is what the Fijian Drua needed. Simeone Kuravoli. Oh, he's been dragged down just short of the try line. I didn't expect anyone to cut him off. I thought that they would have been able to score for sure. But now Caleb Muntz not deciding which way to go with that one. And behind now, Samu Vore, cross kick, doesn't sit up nicely this time, it does. And Eliza Drua Sisi will get the try. Our prediction for the Black Caps around 250. Thanks so much for bringing the rugby to South Africa, says the VI Tech podcast. So we've got another one that does podcasts. We saw earlier on someone from Wales. I don't watch a huge amount of podcasts, but eventually I should probably start just because they are quite a good time filler. There you are. Just found you on there. So you talk about technology, I would assume, in that case. And we have got there another 690 metres. Says Kiwi Rob. Try time for the draw, says Matthew. And it's exactly what they needed. Like some form of points going into the second half. Is it going to win them the game from here? Probably not. But will they be a lot happier with being able to score it? Absolutely. But now, it's going to be the last play of the half for them lining up this kick at the post for Caleb Muntz. So going to be a very large separation in the points department, currently sitting 28 points between the sides. Caleb Muntz misses that one, so 28 points is how it will remain. The halftime break, 33 points to 5. So pretty one-sided at the moment between these two sides. Maybe a lot more one-sided than most did anticipate. What we're going to do here is, while we're in the break, we might as well watch a little bit of the cricket as well, just to see how they're going. I want to know how close Fenelon is to that. He'd be over 50. No, he's not. He's actually... Oh, he's just been bowled, or Chapman was, in fact. First ball that I watch is a wicket. If that's not jinxing someone, I don't know what was. Chapman, terrible shot to decide to play there. To Harris Ralph. Just didn't get it right. Tries to smack the bail afterwards. Lowell says TH. So yeah, first ball in. And I see Ralph get the wicket. Nicely done. Yeah, this half, it's been an interesting one so far. The Western Force came out firing. Their rolling maul has looked sensational. But, yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see whether or not they can maintain that throughout the second half, or whether they too start to slow down. Because at the end of the day, it is played in extreme heat. Looking through at the benches, I believe, if I am correct, we've seen no changes that I can think of, other than maybe Hiriti Hitit, I think at one point was going to be making his way on, and maybe actually Kitioni Salawa has also come on for Meri Alangi. I think those are the only two changes that I can think of. They've got the likes of Mira Mira, they've got Matawalu, Armstrong, Ravola, Karawalevu, all guys who have had opportunities in the starting lineup for the Fijians throughout this year for the Force. They have got Tom Horton, also finds Liliwasa, Max Burry, and also Pasitoa. But yeah, second half, not a mile away. When looking at what games are taking place next week, ladies and gentlemen, there's actually only the 4, which is a little bit interesting. Hurricanes versus the Waratahs. That's taking place on Friday night at 7:05 p.m. New Zealand time. Brumbies versus Highlanders. That is at 9:35 p.m. And then the Crusaders versus Moana Pacifica, Saturday, 7:05. Reds versus Force at 9:35. I believe there's also Hong Kong Sevens that are going to be taking place around that same time. I'll have a quick look here while we are in the gap. That sounded like it was almost another wicket for New Zealand there, with a bit of a run-out mix-up. It almost did take place. Yeah, in terms of the Hong Kong Sevens, it starts on the 28th, 3:30 p.m. So the men's games, 5:48 p.m. for Fiji versus USA. We see South Africa, in fact, Fiji play Ireland at 8:58. So they have 2 games, I believe, before South Africa have even played one. which is an interesting one. And South Africa play Uruguay later on in the evening. Yeah, it will be an interesting one to see how that competition also unfolds. 4 plus the Hong Kong Sevens. Put it in this way, is there a thumbs up or middle? Says Edward, look at him talking his mind is solution. I'm very confused by that as well, if I'm being completely honest. They're just talking about the recap of this round. 42 points to 19, the Crusaders victorious. The Waratahs beating the Brumbies. And then on the Saturday, well, in fact, I should say on the Saturday, yeah, it was Highlanders versus Reds, and the Reds were able to get themselves the victory. And then on Friday night, Moana Pacifica were defeated by the Chiefs as well. The odds out for our game yet, says Max. I don't think so. I'll have a quick look though. Oh, actually they might be. Now that I think about it, I think there were about 3 or 4 from next week. Brumbies Highlanders are $4.50 underdogs in that matchup. Brumbies $1.18 favourites. They already have 50 markets for it. Oh, that was a good ball from Harris Ralph. Almost got Finn Allen there by bowling outside of the off stump. Run rate 12.57, I believe New Zealand 220 in the end. See you, Spider Mick, and how's it going? Says Ollie, doing very well. Hope you are also keeping well. I mean, it's Sunday night, and we're going to game of Super Rugby, something that does not happen too often at all. After your commentary, I'm switching to the cricket on TV. I'm updating on the iPad. Says Kevin. There are a lot of games next week. There are quite a few. The URC, we're going to have at least a couple that we do want to cover on the channel. In fact, that is another one that we can have a look at while we are at the halftime break. So we are, of course, going to be covering the Hong Kong Sevens. We're going to be doing the Super Rugby comp. We're also going to be doing some of the URC. And then in terms of the other contest, Ulster versus Stormers, it's going to be at 8:35 a.m. on Saturday morning, New Zealand time. Bulls versus Zebra at 1:45. Sharks versus Leinster at 6:15 a.m. And then Glasgow versus the Lions at 8:13 a.m. So that is going to be a brutal day. That is for sure. 8 Dwayne Vermeulen, 9 Jus van der Vesthuizen, Dan Carter, John Olomu, Ma'anonu, Brian O'Driscoll, Chisel and Colby, Christian Cullen. And this is my greatest match day 23. And then the 4-back Graham Price, Keith Wood, Oosterand, Brody Retallick, Martin Johnson, Thierry Dussetois, Richie McCaw. Sounds like a very solid team. Is there any more games? Says Mohaden. No more games this weekend that we are going to be covering on the channel. But yeah, it's going to be a very busy next weekend. So be sure to stick around for those ones. Does anyone know how the White Ferns go today against Australia? I think I heard they lost it, if I'm not wrong. Ales lost again. Season basically over for them, says Judah. Yeah, so not the start that they would have liked. We got smoked. Says Kiwi Rob there too. Just showing Finn Allen with a couple of his highlight shots as well. Playing in the classic Finn Allen way, which is just swing for absolutely everything and hope for the best. That second half of this contest, I would say, is not a mile away. We'll just go quickly back here. So the half ended about 8 minutes ago. So I'd say right, we're apparently back. Apparently Sunday night is not a good time for Wi-Fi. That completely cut out, but luckily it cut out at half time. So we didn't miss any of the action, but yeah, hopefully you guys are still sticking around. Frozen, yeah. So for some reason it did cut completely out. My coverage all cut away as well. Except for the TVNZ coverage. For some reason that was able to somehow keep going. And are the Rebels better than the Drua, do you think? I think it depends. I think that the Rebels, they were really struggling at times, but they actually had a pretty good finish to their Super Rugby tenure. What's for dinner, mate? I had a ham and cheese toasty. So extremely fancy for myself. Are the Rebels better than the Drua? Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And why does it freeze the screen? Says Mohadin. It was due to a bit of Wi-Fi technical difficulties, but now it seems like it's come right. What's the halftime Drua excuse this week? Travel accommodation, mode of transport. I think anything is an improvement on fail accommodation and a canoe, says Bob. I think that the excuse will just be that they haven't really found their feet in this game. And the Western Force have played extremely well. But, yeah, it is what it is. One of those ones that the Drua, they haven't been able to find rhythm. They've been ill-disciplined as well here. Did your Sky TV freeze too? It did for half a second, yep. You're doing back-to-back Sevens New Zealand games? Probably not. I would say that depending on, like, of course I'm going to be doing the schedule maybe tomorrow or the next day. And every once in a while we are going to need a little bit of a break in between matches, because or else then we'll either lose our voice or just drive ourselves completely insane. But, you know, we'll still be doing, I would say, 20 plus hours of commentary throughout the weekend. But, you know, as a one-man band, I guess you could say, it makes it a bit difficult. It's Sevens this weekend. This upcoming weekend, yes, Hong Kong will be taking place next Friday onwards. Finn Allen on 50, says Kevin. I'm having roast chicken and chips with curry gravy, says Matthew. And we have got there as well. Where'd that one go? I think Huey Rob. You're doing back-to-back sevens. So there will be a few games, though, that we will be able to do kind of straight after each other. There will also be some that do miss out. Good morning, Amish, from a perfect morning in Pretoria. Says Albert. The only reason I'm asking is the Kiwi Sevens games are back-to-back. Says Kiwi Rob. And hopefully they make up the deficit. Yeah, at the moment they would be sitting with the worst points differential in the Super Rugby competition if this is the way that it does stay by the end. And that is, of course, the last thing that they would have liked. Second half getting close. Finn Allen getting himself the 50 in that New Zealand versus Pakistan game. After 50 T20 innings, he is sitting third in the overall standings for anyone around the world. So that is pretty impressive. Although actually has one of the lower averages out of those top four guys. Jimmy Neesham, the only guy with the lower average. The only reason I'm asking, oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Yeah, there's so many matches taking place. Where is that New Zealand game after game? It's that New Zealand versus China, then New Zealand Australia, I believe, isn't it? And it's South Africa Blues, the same as Leinster's and the Bulls. They're all, I mean, Leinster's was a little bit similar to the Bulls' normal colour yesterday. And that was just because they were wearing the alternative strip. For Allen finally out for 50, says Spider-Meg. Yeah, he is going to be dismissed. Got to his 50, and in the end with 50 off 20 balls. And the last Stormers try was pretty good yesterday. Looking at the highlights, says Albert. Yeah, like the Stormers did very well up against the Scarlets because there were moments in that game where they did seem under pressure. Like mainly it was to do with, I think it was that early patch in the second half. It seemed like the Scarlets had kind of come to play, but overall Stormers doing very well for that away win. The Force blue colour, I mean. I get you, sorry. So the Forces, a little bit similar to Leinster's, but slightly a lighter shade, I would say. As commentary assuming, says Edward John. What does that mean, Edward? We need a few more words there. We got all the games for the New Zealanders from Kiwi Rob there. Do let me know, of course, who you guys think will score the first try of the second half. They've got the KFC ad, which does mean we are probably right back into the action as soon as this one comes to a close. We'll get to see whether or not there is a comeback on the cards for the Fijian Drua, or whether the Western Force will be able to stay strong and get themselves the massive win. But Of course, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to put in a prediction into the chat. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I know now we've got an A-League ad, so we actually weren't quite ready for the players to make their way back out there. And of course, with this game being played in heat, they will have a drinks break around 60 overs in. I can do with KFC now. Says Albert. There we go. They're just advertising the sevens as well. It's going to be a big competition just around the corner. Spain have been outstanding on the sevens circuit. Firing on all cylinders. Probability and statistics is calculated, says Edward in there. So in terms of the odds, we can tell you what they are sitting at the moment. The Fijian Drua to win this game is $31. And you cannot put money on the Western Force anymore as they are considered too much of a favourite. So what time will you do if they are back-to-back? Says Kiwi Rob. Honestly, other than looking at it just then, I haven't looked at it enough to know too much. Because there's also a chance that Friday night is when our cricket breakup is going to be. And then that would be a big decision to make, whether or not I annoy the whole team and possibly have it that they don't want me back next year by not going to a end of season breakup, or whether I do the sevens and Super Rugby on the Friday night. So either way, I'm going to get myself in some sort of trouble. It's just dependent on who's going to give me more stick. We'll get there $31 could be good for a lazy $10 bet. I would recommend nothing more than 5, and honestly probably even 3 would be enough to put on for the Fijian Drua. Although if you've got that cash out option, if they score a few more tries, maybe they get into it. We get there 9 a.m. Pretoria, clear sky but very humid with a nice temp to walk barefoot. It's at 10 p.m. at night though. Yeah, and they are going out for, I believe it's an evening meal and then also a little bit of stuff afterwards from probably 7 p.m. onwards. And where they're going is 30 minutes away. So the chances of getting back in time would probably be pretty slim if I was to go. There's going to be knocked on by the Western Force. Not the greatest start to the half. I'm sure that they would have been after. Would you suggest $200? I certainly would not. Are you there? Big big comeback, lads. 4 tries. Let's go the Drua. Yeah, I think the thing that's hurt them a little bit too is the fact that they did miss that kick right at the end of the first half. Because if that one had gone over, 4 converted tries gets them the lead. 4 converted tries here would, of course, take them to a draw. And then, golden point. We haven't seen it as of yet in Super Rugby Pacific. Hopefully we get to see it at some point here, though. Good afternoon, Hamish. Did you have a good rest? I had a very minimal rest, to be honest. About 2 hours since yesterday morning. But we're still relatively awake, which is quite good. Now, some of Vodre moving up to 22 metres out. Also no wind in Pretoria for days now. Says Albert there. Now another penalty advantage going the way of the Fijian Drua. Saki Donge. Made his way on to replace, I believe it was Mele Tuni. Kitioni Salawa is also off the field for Valive Miramira. Right. Penalty will be a kickable 3. 11 p.m. tonight. IPL second game. Says Kiwi Rob. True boss, thank you though, Hamish. Says Kiwi Blues Nate. But yeah, I'm still very undecided about which way to go for it. We might end up just staying home and doing the streams. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Pretoria, some of the Perth weather today. Says Hanoi. Going to be a line-out chance here to Veda Ikanaveri. To throw this ball in. It's going to be nicely taken by the Fijian Drua. Trying to get this rolling ball going. It has gone backwards. My sister used to live in Perth. Very nice place. Can get hot, says Albert. And sounds good, says Blues Nate. Another penalty advantage going against the Western Force. Their discipline has gone completely out the window for the start of the second 40 minutes. Now Caleb Muntz tries to step through. It's going to be, of course, hard work. Get through those gaps. Now off to the left-hand side. Beautiful inside ball. And Rakuro will score it. So now the Drua, they have scored 2 tries in the last 4 minutes. Now, of course, there was a halftime break in between that. But, once again, you wonder whether or not we're going to see some sort of miraculous comeback here in Super Rugby Pacific. Melbourne is cold today, only got to 23. Says Matthew, and you're too hot in Western Oz. In the East Coast, a bit cooler. Here comes the comeback, says Albert. And there as well. And just so many penalty advantages going against this Western Force defensive line too. Okuro, he scores his 7th of his career, his first of the season though. He hasn't had a huge amount of opportunity on that left wing. The Drua, will they get into the rest of the second half with a bit of confidence? I would say so. Probability for months is not hugely likely, but just short, didn't have the distance. Hamish saved the balls yesterday, giving South Africa hope, says Albert. Yeah, they will have their game next week up against Zebre, which honestly, I have no idea what to expect from their Zebre side, just because I feel like their big game was up against the Sharks and they couldn't quite get it, bro, really. Says Edward John, they did just score, yes. That one's going to be put into touch now. A line out throw for the Fijian Drua. They are inside of their 22 considering taking the quick throw. They will decide against it. Yeah, it was hot though in Melbourne, sun. I was driving most of the day, needed aircon, says Hanoi. It's actually going to be a Western Force line out here. It's been overruled, so the Drua were just about to take it. And then Nick Berry must have got the word from the TMO that they do want to switch it. Now it's still 35 minutes remaining in this contest, down by 23 at the moment. The Fijian Drua with a lot of work to do, definitely as they are now defending from inside of their 22. Nick Dolly, he's already scored 3 tries in this match. Tizano to get one of the others. Now C.O. Tompkinson spins out 5 meters out from the try line. Tizano will score again. He's got, that's now 8 tries across 5 games for the number 7. They seem to not like to tackle him. I disagree with the glove being classed as part of the bat, says Kiwi Rob. And South African Oz, very similar climate, says Albert. 139 for 4 now. Also starting to fall apart a little bit for the Black Cats after a few quick-fire wickets. But Carlo Tizano just seems to not be able to stop scoring for the Force. But just first man to the breakdown, picks it up and then catches the defence scrambling. Will he make the Wallabies team? Absolutely. Like, looking at him here, there is no way that he can't be in there. And he's recently started a YouTube channel where he does like kind of vlogs about the match week, which is kind of cool. I'm sure he'll be getting a few more subscribers after his performance here. In fact, we'll have a look. Carlo Tizano. He's only got 1.95 thousand subscribers. 3 days ago, he put the video out, I have to take a week off. And lucky he did, wait, no. When does he take a week off? I guess during the bye week? Because other than that, we've seen nothing but tries for Carlo Tizano, and he's scored in every single game. He's getting better. He's second best number 7 in Oz. But yeah, just pick and go. Extremely effective, and now making the score 40 points to 10 in favour of the Western Force. Looking into the sun. Was short, and that will be the penalty going the way of the Fijian Drua. We have got there, are you thinking about doing the NPC, or have you? We've done the NPC in the past. And, you know, like, we would consider maybe doing it again. The problem normally is with the timing, seeing as it is kind of at a time of the year where quite a bit of other stuff is going on. It does make it difficult to be able to cover. Definitely when we get towards those international matches as well, how we kind of adjusting my sleeping schedule so that I can match that. Carlo, same size as Hooper, says Albert. And also gives him credit, says Edward. When you're going to be lost for words, says Edward. Is that in favour of the Drua or the Force? I'm very confused right now, Edward. But now, Being driven towards the touch line. That ball's going to be kept in the field of play. Simeone Kuravoli. It'll be a hard one to be able to get out of that breakdown, but they've done it effectively, the Fijian Drua. Off to the right-hand side here. And we have their What Going chat. Says, it's your friend, welcome in. She rules, love is not the bat. Says Spider-Meg, now it's going to be kicked downfield. And it's a good kick into touch from the Western Force. The Drua might consider taking this one quickly. In fact, it looks like they have, and almost having a juggle of that ball was Osifo Masi, who honestly has been extremely quiet throughout this season compared to what we saw for last year. Of course, he has had his fair share of injuries too, which has made it a lot more difficult. Being told to use it. Saki Dunge trying to bounce out of the tackle attempt of Tizano. I think they were asking for the offside penalty. Nick Berry says, no, it was your own player's foot that did affect it. Muntz goes off to the left-hand side to Davide Ekeneveri. Manages to get the offload away to Masaki Vothi. Okay, Nick Berry's really not given anything to the draw on the breakdown. That's about the third one in a row that Kuravoli has felt like someone has obstructed, and Nick Berry has said, no, it's your own player in the breakdown. A little bit of a counter ruck there. Spinning one for Tom Robertson. It's like he might have taken a bit of an injury, and the penalty does go the way of the Fijian Drua. So the highlights, wanted to see the scrum at 80 minutes. Damn, that was good, says Blues Nate. And yeah, the suspense was building big time for that one because they had probably 4 scrum resets before it actually took place. Oh. It's a bit rough. Ryan Coxon was lying down on the ground with an injury. One of the Fijian Drua players grabbed him by the back of the hair and ripped his head up. So it was a little bit rough. Looks like he is still down with the injury as well, Coxon, but slower. Getting back up to his feet. Looks like he's about to make his way from the field. Same with Tom Robertson. Armstrong Ravola comes on for Eliza Druasisi. Stop your smug. Are you annoyed at me, Edward? Or, like, which team do you think I'm being against? It was awesome to watch, says Blues Nate. Prop got his hair pulled. Really, says Edward. Yeah, they did say it was just an off-the-ball incident that didn't need any further inspection. Now the Fijian Drua, they have got a great chance towards the corner. This one's going to be about 5 metres out. 13 overs done, 148 for 4. Says Kiwi Rob. Now showing Darcy Swaney will definitely be trying to get up for this one, but Fijian Drua, they've got the handy locking pairing of Vothi and Asaina Silla. Both men with real capabilities are winning this one, but it is going to be stolen this time by the Western Force. Bit of a spin there, only a couple metres out from the line. Compensation or debit, I have no idea what you're talking about. But now, kick downfield, Nick White does put that one into touch. And it's a really nice kick from the Force, but the Drua feel like round that halfway line is where we've seen them score a majority or quite a few of their tries throughout the season, normally off a counter-attack. This one will be about 37 metres out from the line. Ready to throw it in, nicely taken by Vothi. Cross to Elia Thanakai Vata in the middle of the field. That's going to be an advantage in favour of the Drua. Pini Matawalu running into the man who was offside. Now Matawalu again going off to this left-hand side. The Drua know that if they want any chance of cutting out that Western Force bonus point, they need 2 or 3 more tries here. A little bit of a handling error, but well claimed by Samuel Vorre. Now picked up by Valive Mira. Offloads it up to Armstrong Ravola, and this time it's dropped by Osifo Masi, but there was almost a chance out wide for the Drua back line. They will go back for the penalty again. This one's going to be about 40 metres out from the try line. Last thing I would expect here is a 3-point attempted by the Drua. We are now 5 down. Yeah, so it seems like it's really fallen apart since I decided to watch one ball. That was the ball where Chapman went out, and since then they've lost another 3 wickets. So I think I might have jinxed that a bit. But now Tavita Ikanaviri ready to throw this ball in 15 metres out from the line for the Fijian Drua. And again it will be stolen by the Western Force Nick Dolly. Kicks it downfield into touch. That is actually a really good kick from the number 2. He's already got himself a hat-trick in this contest. The Drua considered going quickly twice there. Neither time they were willing to throw it. Tavita Ikanaviri for this line out. No, looks like changes are about to be made, and one of which is going to be Tavita Ikanaviri. He will be going off for Mizulami Dolokoto. So obviously, the Fijian Drua coach getting sick of those lineouts not quite working. And to be fair, normally extremely accurate in that department for Tavita Ikanaviri, but the last 2 have been unsuccessful. I've decided that now is the time to make that change. Matawalu, Little Jim was behind from Armstrong Ravola. Now Matt Greeley, sitting only 25 metres out from the line. The ball is on the side of the Fijian Drua. Matawalu going off to Masake Donge. Irete Hetet now. To the left again, rush defence from Pullman. Did score himself the try earlier on. Almost did, I should say. Now back to the right-hand side. Armstrong and Ravola with a no-look pass to Samo Vore. And again, it is a knock-on. Can we make it a 200 or over that, Kiwi Rob? Says Kevin. And it's going to be a great kick downfield from the Western Force. Each time the Fijian Drua make a handling error, the Western Force forced them back probably about 40 metres or so, unfortunately. So they cannot afford to keep on doing that. Or it could hurt them in the long run here. Now another line-out chance for the Fijian Drua. Mizulami Dolokoto throws it in. That one's a little bit overcooked, but it is claimed by the Drua. Tackle completion for the Drua in this contest is 68% compared to the Force, who are sitting around that 75-80. Now we could be down 6. Says Kiwi Rob. Nice take from the Force. Nick White passes off to the right-hand side here. I wish you do an excellent job pronouncing Polynesian names. Thank you very much, Judah. It did take a lot of time to try and get them somewhere near correct, but from the that's going to be dropped backwards for the Western Force. But yeah, as we did more games, of course, you guys always corrected me when I got them slightly wrong, which was always greatly appreciated. And it just helped us find out how to properly say them. Nick White going off to the right-hand side here again. Loose ball picked up by the Drua. Vothi goes away to Antonio Wanga. He's going to be hard to catch, and they will not. And that is going to be another try for the Fijian Drua. That's now their 3rd of this match, so it is not over yet. They just don't seem to quite want to give up here, the Drua. They will keep on fighting till the final whistle. Just really well picked up. And Vothi went away to Antonio Wanga and offside or outside. Off, we are 5 down. Says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, the fact that he was outrunning a winger, therefore Antonio Wanga, just shows you how quick some of these Fijian players are. Now 23 minutes remaining. There's still a chance that the Drua can take away that Western Force bonus point. That is going to be the 3rd try of the match for the Fijian Drua. The Force have got themselves 6, which does mean the next try, Armstrong Ravola misses away to the side, so that is now 0 from 3 off the kicking tee for the Fijian Drua. But one more try and they will take away that Western Force bonus point, which would only give the Force 4 in this match rather than the 5. Or the Fijian Drua need to score 4 times in the next 23 minutes. And that would win them the game. But that is, of course, a massive mountain to be able to climb. They are just having the water break now, which means that 23 minutes and the rest of this game, they will have to both hold off on the water. Yeah, both sides do look like they are really starting to feel the heat with it coming down to the final quarter. Oh, that's quite a stat. They've just said there, the first half here up against the Fijian Drua is the most points the Western Force have scored in a first half in their whole club's history. So, 33 points that we're able to get, and it was certainly a strong half. The Fijian Drua managing to score right at the end. That first half too. Ekwasi makes his way on. That is for champion de Chris Pigney. And we have I now think the Black Cats bowling side has to be on fire. What do you think, Kiwi Rob? Says Kevin. It's going to be kicked out on the full by the Western Force. We will go back to around the halfway line. It'll be a bit of a disappointing one there for the Force. Definitely because, you've just conceded, so you want to take momentum back. And they go and give the Fijian Drua one more chance at being able to get something going. Sounds like another change is about to be made here. All right, finds Leleawasa. Does make his way on, and 15 down. 157 for 5. And Kiwi Rob also does think that the bowlers will have to be on fire, which is a fair enough statement. And 3 tail. Says Ski. They're just talking about, is it Nick White's haircut that they are judging at the moment? He has certainly changed it since last season. Still has the classic mustache though. Scrum feed on the halfway line here for the Fijian Drua. And Reid Princep, he is now onto the field. That is for Darcy Swain. As the other change the Western Force did decide to make. I've been told to use it. And good, not good rugby weekend. Lost 6,000 euros. See you Friday. Good stuff. Says Bhavani. Well, you're very lucky the Bulls won then, because I think you also said that you did win from that game. But 21 minutes remaining here. The clock is starting to tick down even quicker. Which means the Fijian Drua, if they want a chance of cancelling that bonus point, they need to do something soon. That one's going to be thrown in, not straight, by the Western Force. I think Nick Berry was going to go for a scrum reset off that one for it not being straight, but of course that is not an option anymore. You do just have to go for that free kick. Going off to the right-hand side here, almost through for Samuel Vodre. And that ball again has come out. He's had really bad ball security today. Unfortunately, the inside centre for the Drua. Hamish, what do you think about the idea of bringing in 2 Japanese teams, the Juarez and the Cheetahs, back into Super Rugby? It would be interesting if they were going to do it. I know that it's also been talked about the Cheetahs, like you said. Maybe, you just start with 1 or 2 sides rather than all of them at once. Ouch, off the helmet. Says Kiwi Rob. We have got there. I still can't believe that George guy from yesterday. Do not understand how empty Pretoria gets on long weekends. It's like a ghost town now. Says Albert. But yeah, the Pretoria has to have a big crowd next week because he said he was going to be back. And if it was not crowded at the ground, he was going to once again mention it. So are you confident they'll do much better numbers-wise next week, Albert? Are you going to do the women's rugby after this? Says Rups. We sadly are not. I have got work tomorrow. Oh, C.O. Tompkinson landing awkwardly. Draw a player saying, what was I supposed to do? He jumped at me. It's a shame that our strike bowler, Matt Henry, is out, says Kevin. Yeah, such a phenomenal bowler, Matty Henry. C.O. Tompkinson looking like he's in a bit of pain. Just talking to Nick Dolly at the moment. And Nick Dolly and Carlo Tizzano, between them, they've got 5 tries in this match. The Western Force have got 6 and definitely will be a better crowd next week at Loftus, says Albert. Yeah, of course, Sharks going to be taking on Leinster next week. And then at Loftus, it is Zebre taking on the Bulls. And ball is about to be fed in by the Fijian Drua. And it's going to be a free kick now going the way of the Drua, just outside of their 22. They decide to take the quick tap and keep on going. Oh, what a run that is. From Ilya Thanakaivata. Penimatawalu passes across to Armstrong Ravula. Wide cutout pass for Ponepati. Loganamasi. Tackled by Pullman. A lot of pressure in the breakdown from C.O. Tompkinson. There's going to be another advantage against the Western Force. Armstrong Ravula tries the cross kick, not taken cleanly by either man out wide. Oh, big shot on Harry Plummer. It was a little bit late by Ilya Thanakaivata. He said he was already committed to it. Harry Potter almost got bent in half. He's trying his best to act like that one didn't hurt, but it certainly would have winded him with the way that Thanakaivata came absolutely steaming over. It was actually Harry Potter who made the first initial shot. Jeez, that is a big hit, and it is very late from Thanakaivata. They may have a look at this. Okay, it sounds like they're going to be all right. They've said all good for subs from Nick Berry. Harry Potter can't quite believe that he didn't receive the penalty for that one. Yep, referee has said timing was good. Fijian Drua, they will kick this one towards the touchline. Does get into touch, maybe about 5 metres out. I think we might sneak into the in to get 200. They better turn up, buddy, says a Blues Nate. Now 16 minutes left, and it will be C.O. Tompkinson this time making his way off. Drua, they need to get a rolling maul or something going so that they can set themselves up for that backline movement where you could find Ponepati Loganamasi perhaps. It's a really strong option. Here comes a great ball runner there though. Wangi to manage to get the last try for the Fijian Drua. Good shot on Vothi low. Western Force trying to get the turnover. He wasn't on his feet. And the penalty will go against him. They want to go quickly. Carlo Tizzano, man who has been penalised for that one. It's a little bit cynical, but just slightly getting it wrong. 166 for 5 after 16 overs. Here's Kiwi Rob. Looks like the move for the Fijian Drua here is just going to be that quick tap and go. Here's Ilya Thanakaivata. Matawalu off to Masaki Donge. Can't stretch out. Matawalu tries to go to Osefu Masi, who has knocked the ball on. And it's going to be another try opportunity squandered for the Fijian Drua. Tell you what, frustration has got to be starting to set in. I don't know whether or not it was actually supposed to go to Osefu Masi. In fact, it looked like he was trying to go out even wider. Waiting for the ball on the outside. Now, 14 minutes left, and the Western Force will have themselves the scrum feed here from inside of 5 metres. Just making sure Matawalu didn't end up with that ball. I thought for a second he had it in his hands, but it is finds Leleoasa. Does have the scrum feed. More than likely for the Force, the main goal will be just to get this ball out of their own 22, breaking off the back from Ikuasi. 6 runs says Kiwi Rob. Back into the pocket for finds Leleoasa. Passed across to Harry Potter. Put it down the middle of the field, waiting for the bounce of the ball. Offloaded up from Caleb Muntz. Gets it away to Karawalevu. Well handled by the Western Force. They've stopped a lot of meters from the Fijian Drua just from making those important one-on-one tackles. Armstrong Ravula, that was not the passing option. Mira set up with the hospital pass, and it's going to be a good steal from the Western Force. Now short side finds Leleoasa. Goes off to Horton. The culture and how people do things are very, very different in South Africa from Australia and New Zealand. Here's Albert. Yeah, normally culture is pretty different no matter where you go. And the well beautiful ball there. Now running up the middle of the field. Goes for the grubber in behind. Harry Potter waits for the bounce of the ball and gets it. And he will score the try for the Western Force. They now move up to 45. And that is brilliantly done. 12 and a half minutes left in this contest. And the Force still feel like they can bring up the 50. Harry Potter goes with the grubber. I think Armstrong Ravula was expecting the chip over the top, which is why he jumped up for it. I'm going to see the replay here. The ball, yeah, it almost rolls underneath him, or at least to the side of him anyway. And then they just weren't quite able to stop him in time. The Force happy with that one. As entertaining popcorn rugby. Says Albert. Harry Potter, that is his 4th try for the season now and his 2nd of tonight. Already had 60 points scored throughout this game. I think one thing was for sure, everyone thought that it was going to be a relatively high scoring contest. Now, I did think that it would be a little bit closer. What is your expectations for the All Blacks this year? Honestly, I'm looking at it from an open kind of slate. I don't really have huge expectations. I'm just looking forward to seeing what side selected and who the guys are now getting opportunities as they head towards that next World Cup. But, you know, some pretty tough matches taking place this year. That one's not going to go the 10 metres. And go back for the scrum now. Feed for the Western Force. Now 11 minutes left on the clock. This time is ticking down quite quickly. I should also mention that kick did go over, seeing as it was a nice easy one. 47 points to 15 now. It's the way that it does sit. And the live table, the way that it sits, the Western Force will move into the top 6 at the end of this round, sitting with 14 points in total. The Highlanders would drop to 7th on 11. The Canes are in 8th, Blues are in 9th. Then it goes the Drua and Moana Pacifica as the bottom 2. Do you play Super Rugby Fantasy? I did, but haven't changed team in 4 weeks. Says Hanoi. So I don't, only because, as some of you guys will know, I'm absolutely awful at predictions. That is a massive push at scrum time from the Western Force. Finds Leleoasa. Goes short side, tries to pass it off. Fiji can still win, brother, says Sean Johnson. Are you sure? 10 minutes left. They would need 32, or in fact, they'd need 33 points. So they would need 5 tries in the next 10 minutes to win this game. And they would need all of them to be converted. Are you guys formidable? Says Edward there. I do like the fact that the Fijian Drua, even at this point in the game, you can clearly see that the side is exhausted, but they're still trying things, still trying to get some sort of backline going for the chance of cutting down on that bonus point, but it does just seem fully secured now, really. Says Blues Nate. And the Western Force, to be honest, the 50 points does seem like it's on the cards. Yes, I will pay the ref to give the Force 15 red cards. Says Sean Johnson. And 181 for 5. 17 overs done. 3 to go, says Kiwi Rob. That one's going to be thrown in nicely to Ekuasi. Finds Leleoasa. Goes across now into the middle of the field. That was to Pasatoa. 10 metres out. Finds Leleoasa. Goes across to Stewart. Leleoasa again. Pops it up to Carlo Tazzano. He's had a very busy game. Same with that man, Harry Potter. He's looking for the hat-trick. Him and Tazzano both have 2 tries each. Nick Dolly, he has already got himself the 3, but he is no longer on the field. 8 minutes left now on the clock. 23 for the Force. Looks like a Kiwi League 40. It does, to be honest. Like, it is Pasitoa. Can you please do the coverage on the NRL again, says Sean Johnson? It's been a little while since we've done the NRL. I think the biggest reason that I haven't been doing it is just because, sadly, you know, it's very difficult to, like, do it with the overlaps. Like, there are, of course, games that don't overlap, but a lot of the biggest matches that are taking place normally happen when we're live for a Super Rugby game. So it gets really challenging when we have to try and decide, you know, between the teams. We'll go like this. We will go like that as well. There we go. Now line out throw for Mizolami Dolokoto. Going to be thrown over the top. Nicely taken off to the left-hand side here. Armstrong, Ravola. Karawalevu does end up slipping over. It's been a bit of a trend for the Fijian Drua. That's actually how we saw Meli Dedialangi pick up his injury earlier on in the match. Back across to the right-hand side. Now Harris. Middle of the park. 25 metres out. 191 up. Please, maybe even the grand final, I think that is it? But yeah, we were doing State of Origin. Like, we didn't do State of Origin last year because I was in Australia during the time that it was taking place. But, like, we used to do the State of Origin, myself and Dad, and that was always a lot of fun. So maybe we'll do it for the next one. Back across to the left-hand side here. And Sunday, 30th March, kickoff 9:15 p.m. home team. West Tigers third position away team. Warriors. Says Kiwi Rob. Now nice pick and go from finds Leleoasa trying it again. They tried only a couple minutes ago, just woke up. How did Dolly perform, Hamish? He got himself the hat trick. So if he was in your fantasy team, he did very well. Now Leleoasa. Going off to Tom Horton. After 9 phases in a row now. Yes. Finds Leleoasa. After beauty. Slips over. Oh, he got back up to his feet rather than passing it. I think he wanted to go himself. Our live forecast, New Zealand 219. Says Kiwi Rob, and that ball's going to be loose, but they will be the penalty again against the Fijian Drua. Through the sun, almost done for the day. Says Blues Nate. Okay, I think Nick Berry just having a little bit of a smart comment to one of the Western Force players who did say, oh, they've thrown the ball away. And Nick Berry pretty much said, what do you want me to do? March them 10 so that you're on their goal line. And damn nice. You're the only Force player I chose. Well, you chose really well. I'd say he's going to be the highest scoring hooker out of this round of the competition. And Amy, have you heard of the Ezra? I haven't, if I'm honest. And I feel like it's one of those... Like, the name has been mentioned, and I feel like it's quite bad, isn't it? So, yeah. We have got there Nick Berry. Says Blues Nate. But next game that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be not a mile off. We have, of course, got the Hong Kong Sevens. We have got the Super Rugby and the URC all taking place next week. Now, ball's going to be fed in by finds Leleoasa off to the right here. Chance going through is Donaldson. He's going to be almost clotheslined there. Oh, and he's not happy about it at all. Oh, still tries to push him as well there. He was close to getting clotheslined there, Donaldson. 199 for 5, says Kiwi Rob. So really, when this game does end, it's going to be the perfect timing of when that second innings is going to be taking place in the cricket. So I feel like that is ideal. We're going to see the replay here. Going across was Penny Matawalu and just got him a little bit high, which did cause Donaldson to get rather annoyed. A 50 partnership up and rugby 25 is bad, bro. It isn't the best game, no, but hopefully it gets better. Yeah, Donaldson not too happy. But now it's going to be the chance to line it up. And Fijian very niggly with late and weird tackles, says, and I think that's just fatigue starting to set in. And I mean, their defence is starting to really pay for it too. Leon McDonald with Forces coaching staff's awesome. Mr. Rangi says, I Blues, Nate, that kick has missed away to the side. And it's going to make the score 52 points to 15 in favour of the Western Force. Still 3 minutes left, and there is still a chance that they could score themselves another one, but this points differential is certainly going to be creeping up in a great direction for the Force. The last time we won at GIO was 2020, says Max. And now that one's going to be juggled. And there was a knock-on from the Force, so we will get another scrum for the Fijian Drua before this day is done. In fact, with only 2 minutes remaining, I would say it's almost going to be the last attacking chance. Unless, of course, the Force want to try and work this one out from inside of their 22, 37 points down. Says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, quite the substantial difference in terms of margin. So with that in consideration, we might as well have a look at the table and the way that it will be sitting. The Force will move up into the top 6, and their points differential will go from minus 46, with the difference at the moment of 37. It will go down to only, I believe it is minus 9 now. So that is substantial, putting it above the Hurricanes in terms of that differential. As you can see, though, all those sides near the top have got brilliant points differentials in their favour. The Chiefs in particular, the only loss for them was up against the Fijian Drua. Now short side Elia, Whanakai Vata, somehow staying in the field of play. Harry Potter looking for the turnover, ends up giving away the penalty advantage. He's not happy about it, but it is going to be another quick tap taken by the Fijian Drua. 1 minute remaining on the clock. Can they get themselves maybe one more try and something? We might even still have time for the kickoff, depending on how long this one's going to take. I think the players are psychopaths because they handshake nothing at the end of the game, says Sean. Yeah, it is an interesting animation, that one. Not sure whether or not you saw our most recent one where we were playing the Highlanders, but the game did not end well, and it stopped about halfway through because they tried to take the quick throw. Right, it's going to be held up, but they will just check this one. I just mentioned that they do not have the clear grounding for it. The original decision is going to be no try. I just told there to hang on while they check the TMO grounding. Where is the ball? There it is. So it's 1 metre short at the moment. And then they're going to go with that pick and go. For the Fijian Drua, he's allowed one movement. Yeah, that didn't look like a clear grounding. He is held up already as the call, 205 for 6. So it is going to be the goal line dropout, just the 30 seconds now on the board till this game is over. And I feel like the Drua will be looking forward to a bit of a spell. It's been over 30 degrees for this game, and they have been outplayed by this Western Force side, who have really all just seemed like a really random clean out to go for the Fijian Drua. Easily could have been a penalty against their man for running in from way out of the breakdown. Now, here Rete Hetet RDC Ben O'Keefe let about 7 head-high tackles on both sides go unreviewed last night. Says Hanoi, which game was he doing? Out of curiosity, because we only covered the Crusaders versus Blues game, and other than that, I actually didn't get to watch any of the contest due to playing cricket and also sleeping for a little nap before the URC games. Big run forward from Mira. Ball's loose. It's gone backwards. Now trying the grubber from Karawalevu. Kicked in a touch from Fines Leliwasa. And that is going to be full time in this contest. 52 points to 15 in favour of the Western Force. So they have once again won for the season at home as well. So they will be more than happy with that. The Fijian Drua, they find themselves yet again with an away loss. How'd your cricket go? It went well. We managed to win the game. It was getting a little bit tight in terms of the time that it was going to be finishing and my first live stream, which was Crusaders versus Blues. We were playing 30 minutes away. So pretty much I was batting at around, I think it was 6 o'clock. And I actually asked the umpire, who was one of our teammates, I asked him, whereabouts are we sitting time-wise? And he said 6. And as soon as he said that, I knew that we had to get on with it. So then I think we had a few big overs and we won the game. So then I was able to leave without leaving before the game was over. As you watch NRL Telstra Premiership highlights, says Sean Johnson, good game Western Force, says Matthew, and Rugby Challenge defence is brutal. Big hits, big raps, and buried him. Big hits from the side. Rugby 25 is better D's, says Blues Nate. And yeah, I mean, there's been a couple good updates for Rugby 25, but then at times they seem to go backwards, unfortunately, with the gameplay. But, I'd like to think in 1 or 2 months it's actually going to be pretty decent. It's just a shame that we're going to have to wait that long, but we are going to continue doing the career mode. It's a bit of fun when we have random glitches, as frustrating as it can be. But, we'll keep going, see how it goes. Nonetheless, do thank you all very much for tuning in. Next week, we have got plenty more live streams that will be taking place. We've got the career mode episodes throughout the week. And then also, like I said, we've got Union and Sevens for next weekend throughout the few days. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.